name is Jürgen, and I'm from Munich. As you guys know, one of the cities in Germany with probably the lowest unemployment rates, and probably one of the wealthiest regions in the world. Sounds nice and peachy, right? Great place to live. It actually is. But nevertheless, over the past few years, I had the sensation that people were getting more and more dissatisfied with society, that people are feeling left behind. And what concerns me personally most is that politics of fear seem to work a lot better than politics of solution in the last few years. And somehow that provoked a feeling inside of me, something I couldn't grab at that moment. It's not bad yet, but something is stirring underneath the surface. I don't know if you know that feeling, you're about to get a cold, but you're not sick yet. So what did I do? I guess I did what everybody does. I started talking with my friends, and then randomly, occasionally with other people, and I realized it wasn't just me. It wasn't just me who was concerned about this situation. So that kept me thinking, in what society do I want to live in? Why do people feel left behind? What's behind that? And my answer to that is, I want to live in a society where people actually step up for each other, where people respect each other. This means give respect, but also get respect. Works in both directions. That's very important. So, what is the glue for such a society? The glue is solidarity. I know it's a big word, very theoretical. And what's behind it? Obviously, you cannot take it for granted. What are we doing to maintain it? Right now, the main instrument are taxes. For me, solidarity is a feeling. And when I think about solidarity, it should be a positive feeling. What happens when you think about taxes? What kind of feeling do you have? Exactly. So, can that be everything? So I kept on thinking that there needs to be something else. I mean, solidarity needs to be experienced in order to create the positive feeling. So I was complaining about the politicians who don't deliver solutions. And I wanted to be different, so I came up with an idea. I know you guys are here today at a TEDx event, and you're expecting something mind-blowing. And guess what? The idea is simple, but the impact is great. The idea is that everybody completes a mandatory year after high school in a project that is beneficial for our society. So when you read that, there are a couple of words that jump right in your face. One of them is mandatory. Mandatory has this bad connotation. Somebody tells me what I have to do. I don't like that. But think about it. Aren't there so many, not many, but are there quite a few very important things in our society that are mandatory, which are not considered bad? Let me give you one example. School education. I think we don't have an argument on that it's a good thing. We as a society decided at one point it would be good for everyone if people can at least read and write. Or think the other way. Imagine people or parents could decide what their kids study. I personally wouldn't be standing here. Why? Because I wouldn't be speaking English. I hated learning that language. And if I would have known that my parents were the one who would decide if I should learn this language, I would have found 1 million ways to convince them not to do so. Believe me. And the other thing is, okay, why not make it voluntary? We already have the voluntary service. It's a great thing. But who does the voluntary service? You do it when you know about it, when you have the information, you do it when you can afford it, or when you have the background who backs you up that you do this year, or whatever amount of time. What makes it a very exclusive program? Voluntary service is great. Don't want to abolish that. It still should be there. I've done it myself, great experience. But it's exclusive, and this experience shouldn't be exclusive. The other thing with the voluntary service is, right now you always have to decide, it's always a negative decision. If you want to sacrifice this year, if you want to lose this year, because you're going to be behind all the others. And if you make it a new normal, if it's normal for everybody, nobody's going to lose anything. And I mean, you're talking about 1 year. You're not talking about a lifetime. So how big is that investment? Then, since we've been talking about the mandatory, what is mandatory in this program is just to do something. You can do it in any institution that is beneficial for our society. So far, you've probably been thinking I'll be introducing social service, but it's broader than that. Think a little bit bigger. Obviously, you can do it in the social sector, but you could also do it in the ecological sector. You could do it in a sports club, or even in a governmental institution. So just think about that. And the last word in there that is important is everybody. What do I mean with everybody? Guess what? Everybody. So no exceptions, regardless of the gender and regardless of the physical conditions, because everybody is a full member, and everybody can contribute. Everything else would be excluding people. That wouldn't be good. So, last but not least, when to do this year? I think best moment is right after high school, because this year should be part of the education, nothing separate. You start out with the theoretical, very scheduled part, and then you have the practical part. Because solidarity is nothing that you can learn by school books. Solidarity is something you have to experience. So that's why you add up this year right after the school. If you come to the question, what should this year look like? You have to think about the goal. I mean, the main principle of solidarity is to give and get. And we want to teach and show solidarity in this year, which means every entity that is in the program should give and get. So let's look at the 3 parts. First one is the participant himself. He has to be there. He has to work there. He has to invest his time. But, I mean, right then, after school, who knows with 17 what to do with the rest of his life? You will buy him some time. You will show him some options. He can go in a sector he hadn't even thought before. So there will be great personal development. He's going to get out of his bubble, etc., etc., etc. And then we have the institutions. It's going to be a hard job to train those people. And it's going to be an effort. But on the other hand side, the institutions can show what's their purpose. Why are they there? Which will raise the acceptance significantly. And people might actually stick with it, be it with a later job or as a volunteer. Last but not least, society. That's probably the important thing. Somebody has to pay. So who has to pay? Everybody. This program has to be financed through taxes. So what is the return on invest on this? Well, this cannot be measured by money. What we will have for sure is an increased living standard, because think about all the services that can be offered and the quality of those services by so many people contributing. And on the other hand side, we have the chance to show what we use our taxes for. Because right now, as you said before, or as I assume, paying taxes has this negative connotation, and actually you try to save taxes. But think it through. Think about a society without taxes. Sounds great, right? But no taxes also means no services. Is that really what we want? So why is this year a necessity? Let me give you 2 reasons. First of all, it's a necessity because you're going to broaden the mindset. You're going to show different options to the people. It's clear that afterwards, not everybody is going to be a world saver. But by not showing people this option, you're actually limiting them. Why would you want to do that? As I said, we're talking about 1 year. And the second thing is erased resilience, which means our society is going to be stronger with this year. Because, first of all, you're going to have a direct resilience. Only in Germany, there's going to be about 800,000 people doing this service. That's a great amount. But it's a great amount you can also use positively for unforeseen tasks. For example, let's take the so-called refugee crisis. Nobody knew what to do. If you would have this amount of people who could step in right away, provide the basic services, like language courses, administrative stuff, basic stuff, it will not solve the problem, but it will buy some time to find solutions. Then, the next resilience is the one in your head. because it's the best integration program. People meet each other, people work together on common goals, regardless of their backgrounds, financial or social backgrounds, and they meet each other. At that moment, they probably might not really love each other. They might not even love each other afterwards, but they've seen the different situations, and they're going to get out of their bubble, and that might raise the acceptance. So I think this will be the best tool to prevent upcoming simple populism, just because of this fear of the unknown will be taken. So that's the basic concept. And I've gotten so far, and you're probably going to ask yourself why I'm here today. Because when this idea was up, I was thinking, okay, I'm not famous, nor am I a politician, nor do I have the connection. I'm just a regular dude from somewhere. How can I do something? And I didn't really have this big, great plan in the beginning, but with a couple like-minded people, we started to make a video, just to put the idea on tape. And since we were at it, didn't have any expectations yet, we said, okay, we need a platform, let's put it on a website. And once we created the website, I was like, okay, we've put so much effort in it, let's see if somebody's interested in that idea. And we started with a petition. And we have created in the past, let's say, a couple months, more than 12,000 supporters, which showed us, hey, we are not the only ones who think that way. And we got a lot of feedback after the launch. There were people who were against it, which was very fruitful, because it helped us to develop the idea. You don't always have to be for something. It's okay if you're against it. Then we had people who were saying, hey, we support your idea. And actually, my best experience was when I got the mail from somebody who was saying, great idea. How can I get involved? And then we have another group. I mean, this guy who wrote it, I've never seen him before. I never even talked to him. And there he was writing, okay, what can I do? Great thing. And then there's this third group who was saying, great idea, but it ain't gonna happen. And to me, that's the worst. Because if you think that way, that's gonna keep you paralyzed, and you're never gonna get started. And yes, for this group, there's a message. It's gonna be an effort, you're right. And it's gonna be a huge effort, great effort. But we live in a democratic society. We can change anything. We just need the numbers. In this case, maybe a great number, but it can be done. And the message is that it's not the system that determines us, but us who determines the system. We are society. So, and the next good message to that is, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We already know many solutions for this program. We know how to do this program from the experience of the former social service and from the experience of the military service and the voluntary service. We know how to build such a program. We don't have to reinvent anything. What I want you to do is think about the idea, challenge the idea. But on the other hand side, I also want to show you that you can get active. This doesn't necessarily mean that you have to start initiatives. You don't have to be a big inventor. Just start small. Discuss, stand up, get active. But most importantly, get started. Take this petition as an example. I mean, we're right at the beginning. Nobody knows how this is going to turn out. And we are still a little wheel. But as you guys know, when many little wheels start turning, eventually big ones do too. So that's my message tonight. Start being those little wheels. Thank you.